So I'm in extreme pain this morning. I'm shaking horribly. I just try to throw an easy bag of rice. It's a rice that's already in a bag. It's so easy. You just throw it in boiling water for 10 minutes, take it out, it's done. There's no measuring, nothing. Try to make that, and I'm shaking horribly. Boiling water is burning me. Now, luckily, I barely can feel boiling water burning me. I mean, yes, I'm going to have a red mark on my hand. Yes, the pan burned me too. But luckily I barely can feel anything. I don't feel any pain from that. The initial burn I did feel get deep into me, but it doesn't stay on the skin. As long as it doesn't burn all the way deep, I'm usually okay with some burns. I mean, burns still hurt like a bastard. And like if I get like a bad sunburn, oh yeah, that sets my nervous system off like crazy. So don't get me wrong. I still feel pain. I just on my skin, on the skin, it's very low. It's a very low frequency. I don't notice I'm getting burned until I'm really burned. The sunburn doesn't really hurt until it's set in for days. If I play tennis on sandpaper and remove the flesh from the bottom of my feet, I don't feel any real pain when I'm playing tennis, maybe a little bit by the end, but after like an hour of doing that and my feet are bleeding, yeah, that night it would hurt like a motherfucker, and then the next day it would hurt very much. But I'm shaking horribly. So, of course, when my phones are falling out of my hand, pans aren't really working well. And what's even worse is I'm on the ground cooking. I'm not even able to stand up to cook. So I'm kneeling. I'm literally to cut things on this like little case. I guess it's a storage case, a Stanley storage case. And I'm kneeling on the floor using that as a cutting surface. Then I'm bringing a hot plate to the floor on top of a milk crate so I can cook. And I tried to use a chair up at the stove, but the stove is so high that when I stretch to do it, I shake and I moan in pain. So I can't do that. This is fucked up. Now, here's what's even worse. I'm trying to work with an attorney, one that's actually good. Everything is out of Concord. Everything I'm going to need is out of Concord. All the reporting agencies like the EPA, all the stuff for the mold, all the attorneys I would need, all that stuff seems to be in Concord. There's a lot of, I mean, if you're in any town in New Hampshire, it seems like they direct you to Concord if you have a problem. Concord seems to be the town to be. So, how am I going to get there? Oh, that's right. I can't drive until my father takes responsibility for his actions, and then I can go get the documentation on paper. Then I can get a diagnosis. Then I can go on certain seizure medications. Then I can try to pretend like I'm not having any shakes for a year, or if I'm really not having any shakes for a year, even better. As long as it's only a little bit once in a while and I have it under control, I should be driving. So then I go and get my license. I take the test 3 times in a row. I get my license and then I could drive. Oh, but that's right. My father has waited 15 years and still waiting to take responsibility. On top of that, he's known about this issue for 25 years. Doctors told him I had a coordination issue, and I spoke up at 7 years old in the doctor's office that my mother gave me a shitload of pills or a handful of pills, and then I lost my vision. I couldn't feel my hands. I couldn't talk. I couldn't stand up. And I crawled my way over to die on a pile of newspapers. He's known about this for 25 years. So, there's no chance of me driving to Concord anytime soon. There's no way. My father would have had to at least take responsibility last year for that to even be close to a possible. So that's not going to happen right now. Well, what's next? How about the bus? Oh, well, I could take multiple buses, but I am now broke. I am broke. All I have is some bus tickets. And those bus tickets, if I use them to get to Concord, I can't pick up my medication, or I can't go to the Department of Health and Human Services, and I won't make it to court because I'm going to have to go to housing court. Oh, well, we can't do that, can we? Okay, well, how about a taxi? Well, no, that would require me collecting Social Security, same with the bus tickets. And I can't collect Social Security until my father unravels his mess of Social Security he made. I mean, they're not going to give me Social Security for my real disabilities if they have a bunch of craziness on paper. Like the bipolar was made up. My mother twisted it. That's why the doctors went back and forth with it. It's just hyperactivity all the time. I don't go down and up and down and up. Now, if you give me downers, if you take pills and you bring them into the equation, then that's a whole nother story. If you give a downer to somebody, they usually go down. And then if they're naturally hyper and the downer wears off, they go up. Then if you give them another downer, they'll go down. Then as the downer wears off, they'll go back up. So that's what the problem I had there was. So now we know about that. Let's get that on paper with the doctors. Oh, that's right, the doctors won't listen to me because my father made sure to call me a liar and that I make up stories. Oh, yeah, and I'm also some homicidal, suicidal maniac that likes to burn down buildings, my father said, too, with my mother. That's right, no doctor's ever going to listen to me. Meanwhile, I never, ever burned anything but a race car in my life. That's the worst thing I burned in my life was a race car at the age of 14, way after I was already established to be some house burner. My mother started with that shit at 5 years old. At 5 years old, she started telling doctors that I wanted to burn the house down. Not only that, she gave me a full bottle of Ipecac and told everybody I was suicidal. She gave me extra drugs because she heard and thought I was suicidal, when really all I did was repeat with another adult, I guess you would call him. I guess I can't say it was my brother, because I really don't remember who it was. It might have been my brother, my other youngest brother, but somebody walked by. They were a man, I'm pretty sure, and they were in their 30s. Could be a repair guy, could be anybody really, because I don't remember. But somebody walked by, and I tried to eat a mushroom, and they said the words, "What are you trying to do? Commit suicide?" And they walked away. Now, I did not eat the mushroom that day, but a week later, I'm with my nephew playing, and I decide to take a bite of the mushroom. My nephew, who's 3 years younger than me, asked me what I'm doing. Now, I don't have a word. I'm just looking at a mushroom, and it looks yummy. Well, is there a word for this? I don't have a word for this. It's eating. The word I was looking for was I'm eating, but it didn't make much sense at the time. So anyways, I repeat what, the other guy says I'm committing suicide, whatever the hell that is. Then my nephew runs in and they ask me if I'm trying to kill myself. I say, no, 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 no. Oh, that's what that means? No, that's not what I'm trying to do. It's a mushroom. It's like a pizza. I even tell them that. I'm eating it like it's on a pizza. I describe it to them. I say, I'm eating it like it's on a pizza. No, I'm not trying to kill myself. Then my mother decides to poison me. She decides to give me extra medications, a full bottle of Ipecac, and destroy my esophagus and stomach. Then she goes around telling everybody I'm suicidal at the age of 5 to 7. Then she traffics me all over the country when doctors realize this overdose did something to my body. They hear my reports of this medication allergy that my mother's already confirmed happened. She said it was a side effect of a mixture of medications. Then when the doctors ask, well, what medications? My mother says, I don't know. And then she keeps me on those same medications. Also, she did not call an ambulance, and she hung up on the help that she was on the line with that night. So it's very obvious she was hiding something. Then she traffics me to Texas as soon as the doctors start kind of helping me. Yeah, that's right. That's why I can't drive. And my mother made up a bunch of mental illnesses that's in the way of me collecting Social Security. So I can't collect Social Security. I'm too disabled to work. I can't use a shelter because my disabilities aren't documented thanks to my parents, and I can't drive. And I'm pretty much out of money. I'm out of money. I don't have any more toilet paper. I'm basically bumming toilet paper off people I know. I have just enough bus tickets to last me probably to get to court, housing court. I can't go back to work. And people have been screwing up my Social Security, and what's even worse is they screwed it up on purpose, I'm pretty sure, right after talking to my family. Because I gave them the phone number of my father, and then everything seemed to be fucked up on purpose. Not on my end. I answered the phone, I did my meetings, I showed up when I was supposed to. Even if I had to crawl across traffic, I showed up. I did what I was supposed to, even if it made me bleed. I followed Jesus, and I did exactly what the medical professionals and people of authority told me to do. And now it's getting me killed.